And this time, rather than load a finalized project, we will load a startup project, which will only have the data, and it's left to us to do all the transformations ourselves. But in the process, the idea is that we can learn quite a bit. So I'm going to close the AI panel here so we can start from scratch. As you can see, there are no code models available. We only have the raw seed data at this point of time, right? So if you look at the database view, we do have several schemas here. And in the schemas, we do have the raw data already loaded. So we have some, this is the schema for each of the different tables in the raw schema. Raw customer, raw order, and raw payments is what we have, right? Now, as this tick mark indicates, all the different seeds have already been loaded into the raw table. So we can go to the no code model here and start by creating the models, right? So let's do just that. Now that we know what the raw tables look like, the first table we'll create is called dev payments. Let me right click on this and create a new model. We will call this dev payments, and this will reflect the raw payments table. Let me hit create. We have the model created. We want the model to be a root model. It's not a derived model. We'll select the source to be the raw schema and the table to be raw payments, of course. We are developing development models. We want them to be in the development schema, and we'll call this dev payments. Here, apply. There we have it. Now we will add a couple of transformations here. Number one is we have this field called ID, which we don't want. We want this to be called payment ID. This is the first transformation we are applying in this project. So you simply rename the column and click OK. It should apply the transformation. You can actually even see the original name by clicking on this icon. So this indicator basically shows you that this particular column has been renamed. Of course, this indicator shows you the type of the column, but this indicator shows you that this column has been renamed. And of course, this particular rename indicator you can't see anywhere else because we haven't really done anything to the other columns, right? The second transformation we will do here is that we will convert this amount into dollars. This is in cents at this point of time. To create any transformation in Visitran, most of the time you will need to add a column, right? So I'll show you, for instance, how to create a transformation by adding a column. And as we add the column, we can also specify what transformation we want by using simple Excel formulas. So you click on add column. So to remind you again, what we want is we want a column called amount in dollars. And we want it to be this value divided by 100 because this value is in cents right now. I click on add column and then I give it a new column name. Let's call it amount in dollars. And the formula we will use is a quotient formula, which I have autocomplete here. And then I'll say amount, which is the name of the field, and 100 is the value by which we want to divide this. So I'll hit save. There you go. Now we have a new column added, which is amount divided by 100. So when you hover over the information icon here, you can see the actual formula being used. Of course, you can also edit this and change it to something else and stuff like that right here, right? So in essence, we are pretty much done, doing the transformations we need to this particular model. So in essence, we have renamed ID as payment ID, and we have added a column called amount in dollars, which is amount divided by 100, right? One other thing we can do is look at what changes have been made to this particular table, right? So you can look at, for instance, renamed columns. This particular indicator is always there. And then you can also look at if any columns have been added, which is the primary means of making any transformation in Visitran. So you can see that in the add column button now has changed color, and the same color is also used for the particular column. So you know that this is a newly added column, and we also know how many columns were added here by just looking at this button, right? Now, what you can also do is that you can also look at the SQL that is generated as a consequence of your actions, the actions that you made on this particular model. So as you make the changes, Visitran tracks those changes and generates SQL to match those changes. So when you click on the SQL button here, you can see the SQL that's loaded. So for instance, you can see that we are using the as keyword in SQL to rename the column here from ID to payment ID. And you can also see that we're using a flow cost, and then there's a formula here which maps to the quotient Excel formula, right? Of course, we also have Python code that's generated, but that's not something that you need to worry about. That's how Visitran works internally, but you can look at the SQL that's generated as part of your actions. The documentation for the Excel formulae are available on the Visitran documentation website. So you can get a lot of information as to what formulas are available and what each formula does. Excellent. Now we are done with the dev payments model.